Welcome to Dad in a Shed. I'm Mark, and this is part 2 of the Avengers A build. Let's get straight back into it. So, I'm just going to make some marks on the foam as to where I want to create some detail for this. One of the things I want to try and capture is the arrow here. So I'm just going to mark where everything lines up. Maybe just the middle of those here at this end. Over here, in the middle of that. Here should be pretty straightforward, and I've debated with myself as to whether I'm going to bevel these edges, but I'm going to try. It could all go wrong, but I'm going to give it a try. So basically I'm going to take a line around this edge. There. Okay. What I'm going to try and achieve is I'm going to cut in at that point with my blade at an angle. Now, what would be nice is if it reached the bottom. I'm not actually that fussed if it does, so long as I can get the edge clean. Even if it's not perfectly accurate all the way around it, if it's clean, I think it'll still have quite a good effect. Down at the bottom here, I'm just going to continue the line on and maybe then cut an angle in there, same on that side. And then I want to get the arrow here. So let me just make a mark on top where those edges are. Center is there. Right side of it. Center line again. And at the same at this end. And what I'm going to do here is go in at an angle sort of like that on both sides. Maybe I'll just link those lines up. I think I've decided as well, I'm going to put a bit of damage in various places, just a few cuts and dings, as though for some reason this has seen some action. But then when I paint it and then distress it a little, it'll catch. I'm also going to try and texture this A. I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. I'm going to heat it, but basically when you can use a heat gun on this and it seals the foam. I think somehow it shrinks the surface, and in doing that it exposes cuts, but also puts like a seal on it. Now when you heat it, you can bend it. When it cools, it'll actually stay in that bent position, but you can heat it and put indentations in the surface, and when it cools it'll actually keep the indentations. You can heat it up and it'll come back again, so you can kind of make mistakes with that. But I think if I can try and texture the A a little, again when I paint it and put a wash on it, it'll look better. So I shall now make some cuts, and hopefully I don't ruin the thing, but that gives me potential to fix things, I guess. So here we go. Blade's quite sharp. Let's just make that a bit shorter. Right, I'm going to go in at an angle. And then try and make that smooth cut. Keeping that angle all the way. Do for now. Get on this side. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to do a small cut. Same here. Too bad. Another angled cut here. Hopefully to meet, hopefully again, to meet up the bottom of that previous cut there. Now, this should be interesting. I think you can actually get tools now that cut out angled cuts. Evil Ted has demoed some and they look pretty good. I don't have any, so here we go. Do I cut the centre line first? I'm not sure. I think I'm just going to go for it and hope for the best. Maybe if I've done the first one, I'll decide against that on the second one. So, blades just bend it a little bit. Tidied up. That's better. I'll just do the same on this side. That is not too bad. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm going to do a bit of sanding, literally just sandpaper. This is going to rough it up a bit too much, I have a feeling. but then we'll get a bit of heat on it and hopefully it'll soften the edges a bit. Just get some of those marks out of the way. You don't really need to watch any more of this, so I'm going to sand all of this. And you'll see it when it's ready to start the paint process. Okay, I'll get this sanded and we'll move on to the next bit. Okay, that's pretty much the sanding done. It's not absolutely perfect. There's a couple of areas where I cut into the foam where I didn't mean to. Some that are not great, but overall I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm now going to do just some detailing work. I'm going to put a couple of dings in it, basically just put some cuts in the foam just to make it look as though it's seen some action, although how that would happen I've no idea. Now they might not look like much, but when I add some heat to that they'll open up. And then what I'm going to do is use the heat gun on it. In fact, I'll just take this mat off to do that. And then what I'm going to do is make a bit of a surface out of this and just press this into the foam when there's heat on it, just to get a bit of texture. I'm going to mask the round bit so I just get the letter. But yeah, here we go. So pretty much standard heat gun. You'll see where the cracks are that I've just made. There you go, they start opening up and it looks like damage. It also can just help seal the foam ready for painting. I'm going to try and avoid that because I don't want to go over that. Okay, I think I might do a bit more down this end. That looks really good there, so I'm just going to do a bit more at this end. Now, if you can see, when I heat it again, it just drops out. But I want to make it a bit deeper impact. There. Yep, I'm happy with that. So I am going to give this a quick coat of primer. This is what I've got. It's all I've got, so hopefully that'll be enough. I'm gonna do this outside, so in fact I'll take you outside with me. I'll give this a shake, I'll take you outside, and I will give it a coat of primer. Remember, always read the labels. That should have been silver. I forgot to, well, I messed up recording the primer spray, but this is me spraying on the silver paint afterwards, so just imagine I did this. I did do this, but you didn't see it. This is me replicating what I did with the primer, but with the second coat, which is the silver spray. And that is number one son explaining how good he is on a trampoline. He is pretty good, but not what you're here for. So, decent spray, trying to get every surface, holding it a distance so it doesn't run and I don't get runs. Yeah, I've just said that. How dare I? What would you say? Globules of paint. Too much build-up. It will still, even with the primer, it'll still sink into the actual foam a little bit. But I just want to get a decent coat on the whole item. We're now ready to do some weathering on this. I don't know if you can see this, but it's very bright and shiny. Now you could leave it like this, put some varnish on it, but I think it's going to look a bit better with a bit of weathering on. We're going to knock it back a bit first with some darker colours. I'm just going to use some acrylic paint. We've got some black, a little bit of that, you don't need too much, and some, this is burnt sienna. Mix a bit of that together, plenty of water. I'm literally just going to brush this on into those gaps. Get it right in around these edges as well, I think. Anywhere it's going to pick up some detail, basically. I just get this paint in there. Any damage that you created, any nicks and things, get it in there, around the sides, wherever you want to. And then take some kitchen paper, basically wipe it off. Dirt, grime, and just knock that sheen off, but it'll stay in the low spots. Just give it a bit of texture. quite good. If you feel there's too much on in certain areas, maybe like that, you can actually just wet and just knock it back a bit and rub some of it off if you feel it's a bit too much. It's water-based acrylic, so it's pretty easy to play with. And sometimes you can get a bit too much on, it just looks messy. So the benefit is if you put a bit too much on and you feel it's a bit too heavy with the wash, you can just wipe it off. But just trying to find a nice balance where you've got a bit of aging in there, some depth to it, not just your shiny silver. I think looks much better. I don't know if you can see that properly. I'll get some stills of this later when it's done. So yeah, that's looking pretty good now. How well you can see that in this light. But it's basically, it's picked up some of that detail. It's picked up the cuts in the foam as well. So I think that's actually probably enough. Maybe I'll just add a little bit more on here. Just get it into that detail. Yeah, that's good. That's good. There's definitely some battle damage happened there. And remember, that's just from the heated foam with the tin foil pressed into it. So the next thing I'm going to do is a technique called dry brushing. It's basically it's literally that. You get some paint on your brush and then you pretty much wipe most of it off till just the tips of your brush have got paint on. You dry most of it off. Now my brush is a little bit wet, so I'm just going to try and get some of that water out of it before I do this, or it's not going to work as well. And you get just a bit of paint on, get most of it off, and then you hit the edges of whatever you're working on, and any paint left on the brush will just catch those high spots. I realise this doesn't make for the best footage. Give you some edge detail. I'll try and get used to holding what I'm doing in front of the camera next time, so you can actually see the progress I'm making as I'm doing it. Trust me, it does work. I will also pick out some areas where I want some more raised detail. Good. And I'm also going to, I think, put a bit of blue into the silver at some stage as well, just to give it a bit more depth with the paint job. Make it fancy. But you just want to lightly hit the top of the object. There's a lot of history of this in prop making and costume design. There's a lot of videos on how to do this on YouTube. Maybe watch one of those. Again, I'm not sure if you can see much of this on camera. I'll try and get some highlight shots afterwards, just to show you the difference it makes to some of the edges. basically bringing that edge back as though over time it's been handled and polished by human hands, basically, or hands from any race in this case. I'm quite proud of myself for that.
You probably shouldn't be. My thoughts exactly.
So a little bit more of this. I think I might just add. It's a bit too heavy there. A bit of that blue now, and see if that makes much of a difference. These are just acrylic paints picked up from. These are a place called The Range in the UK. If you're watching this anywhere else, it's just a cheap, general purpose store. They sell DIY stuff, gardening stuff, craft things. And they're not expensive. That's good. I like that. But this place is like this all over. Yeah, that blue and silver really works on the edge of this. Just gives it a different dimension to the colour. Just knocking it back with my finger a bit just so that it doesn't look like a paintbrush has done it, basically. Because everything else is just black and silver, the blue does stand out almost too much. So I just want it really subtle in areas. Just to catch those edges. Doing too much of this away from the camera, aren't I? I promise I will get better at this. Certainly better at doing it in front of a camera. Okay, I think pretty much there. Now this needs a coat of varnish. Now at the moment the only place I can do the varnishing is outdoors, and due to the weather at this time of the year, and pretty much any time of the year in Burnley, well, it's usually raining. But it certainly builds character. There's a bit of paint on here that I just want to rub back a bit. Right, okay, so may just pick up some blues there. I'm going to stop, and now I'm going to see what the weather's like and see if it's varnishing weather. If not, I'll have to finish this another day. We shall see.
Of course, it was raining. So I have this near an open door with a fan blowing on it. It should be okay. You can see there's a lot of spray blowing around. It's raining outside. It's fairly windy. Not ideal, but I just wanted to get it finished. I will finish the spray varnish, I'll leave it to dry, and then I'll get some photos. And there we have it, the finished item with weathering, varnish, and I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks good. Thank you for watching. Hopefully the next videos won't be as long, but I hope you appreciate and enjoy what you've watched. Please have a go. It's not that difficult, and it'd be great if any of you do have a go, if you post some of your pictures in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.